Hello, friends. My name is Dr. Brian Ang. I'm a glaucoma specialist and co-founder of Nutravision. This is a video recording of the talk that I was supposed to deliver with the Malaysian Glaucoma Society on Sunday as part of World Glaucoma Week. Unfortunately, I fell ill and I was unable to deliver the talk in person. So I hope that this recorded video will help to make amends somewhat because I feel like I let a lot of people down that day. So today I will talk about a topic that's very close to my heart, proactive glaucoma care and going beyond eye pressure. If you're watching this, then you must know that glaucoma is caused by high eye pressure. But did you also know that glaucoma can occur even when your eye pressure is normal? This occurs in around 30% of glaucoma patients. So 30% of people with glaucoma have normal eye pressure. And in certain Asian populations, this figure increases to an astonishing 92%. So that's a very high figure. So can you imagine this? You might be doing everything right. You're putting in your eye drops as instructed. You're keeping on top of your eye pressure. Yet, you may still be losing vision from glaucoma. This is highly personal for me because this is exactly what happened to my father. And here he is. He's in his 70s now. He's a retired GP. He's always had excellent vision throughout his life. He's had 20/20 vision without needing to wear distance prescription glasses. However, everything changed a few years back when he was diagnosed with glaucoma, even though his eye pressures were normal. And in his visual field test, you can see that he has lost the top half of his visual field. Fortunately, he has the bottom half remaining. So I made sure that he was put on the best eye drops. I did laser for him. I wanted to make sure he kept on top of his eye pressure control. But deep down inside me, I felt like there was still something that was missing in his care. And that's when I started delving deep into the research of what else we could do to support his vision beyond just reducing eye pressure. Because here's the truth, glaucoma is not only about reducing eye pressure, it's actually about the health of your optic nerve. And your optic nerve is very important because it transmits information from the eye to the brain. You can think of it as the cable that connects the camera, which is your eye, to the computer, which is the brain. And for you to see well, you need a healthy functioning optic nerve. The trouble is that optic nerves are very vulnerable. They are highly susceptible to damage, not just from eye pressure, but also from daily stress and physical aging. And this is why you can still get glaucoma damage even though the eye pressure is within the normal range. And this is also why it's very important that we strengthen the optic nerves. We increase their resilience so that they are not going to get damaged so easily by pressure or stress. But what if I told you that there are certain habits that you might be doing that could be accidentally harming your optic nerve every single day? Today, I'm going to share 6 such blind spot habits. And here's the first blind spot habit. Not being active enough. I get it. Why should I exercise when I can watch sports people do it for me on television, right? But the truth is that people who are not physically active, there is less circulation to their optic nerves, less nutrients and oxygen are being delivered to their vision ecosystem, and they are at a 2.4 times increased risk of getting glaucoma. So the solution to this is to keep active. And by keeping active, I don't mean hitting the gym for 2 hours every day. Even just increasing the amount you walk by 10 minutes every day will make a huge difference over the long run. The studies show that people who engage in moderate physical activity have a 58% less odds of developing glaucoma. So make sure you pick an activity that you enjoy doing and find someone who is like-minded who will be able to do the activity with you and, more importantly, keep you accountable. And this forms the basis of the first key pillar of proactive glaucoma care: physical activity. The second blind spot habit is stress, or rather, not managing your stress. I mean, let's face it, everybody experiences stress every day. And stress is bad because it increases your circulating stress hormones, it increases your blood pressure, and more importantly, it can also increase your eye pressure by over 4 millimeters mercury. And this is highly significant if you have glaucoma. Personally, I feel that stress is a highly under-recognized important risk factor for glaucoma. So it's very important that you manage stress, and one of the best ways of doing this is through mindfulness meditation, or if that's not your cup of tea, then deep breathing is also excellent. In this technique, you take 5 seconds to breathe in and 5 seconds to breathe out. And you do this for a few minutes 3 times a day. A recent clinical trial found that just doing this could potentially reduce your eye pressure by 12.5%. And this is on top of the pressure reduction you've already achieved with your eye drops. So, stress management forms the second key pillar of proactive glaucoma care. Personally, I feel that the deep breathing technique helps to calm me down, reduce my anxiety and stress levels, and this is exceedingly helpful when I'm stuck in traffic and I'm late for an important meeting, or if I'm rushing to get to childcare to collect the kids before the daycare auntie starts charging me an arm and a leg every single minute that I'm late. And let's move on to the third blind spot habit: not sleeping enough. Sleep is very important because this is the time that your body gets to rest, recharge, repair, and recover. And it's the same throughout the body, including the optic nerve. And the studies find that if you sleep for less than 3 hours a night, then your risk of losing your visual field increases threefold. Now, interestingly, too much sleep is also bad for you, so don't sleep for over 10 hours every day. The sweet spot is to sleep around 7 hours every night. Now, you need good quality 7 hours sleep. By the way, if you know of a Netflix binge watcher, asking them to sleep instead of watching a Netflix program or movie is like me asking my kids to clean up after their mess. You know, they kind of hear you, but you just know it ain't gonna happen. And also, important to note, if you have sleep apnea, please make sure that is managed and treated appropriately, because untreated sleep apnea can increase glaucoma risk by tenfold. And this makes sleep the third key pillar of proactive glaucoma care. The fourth blind spot habit can be a bit controversial, especially for coffee connoisseurs, and because it relates to drinking too much caffeine. The studies have found that people who drink coffee, or rather drinking caffeine, could potentially increase eye pressure temporarily by 6 millimeters mercury. But more importantly, if you have a family history of glaucoma, or you are at increased risk due to genetic reasons, then drinking more than 2 cups of coffee a day could potentially quadruple your glaucoma risk. I know this is not what you want to hear because coffee is life and I can't survive without coffee. If you are a big fan of your morning beverage, then perhaps you could consider swapping to hot tea instead. US researchers have found that drinking a daily cup of hot tea could potentially reduce glaucoma risk by 74%. So if you are a tea drinker, please keep drinking tea. And if you are a coffee drinker, perhaps consider limiting the amount you drink to no more than 2 cups a day. You know, when I tell this to my Malaysian glaucoma patients, they look at me as though I've just told them that Starbucks coffee tastes much better than kopitiam coffee. This talk about drinking coffee and drinking tea leads on nicely to the fifth blind spot habit, and that is eating too much ultra-processed foods or ultra-processed sweets in particular. Ultra-processed foods are really bad for you because they are pro-inflammatory, they increase chronic inflammation, they increase oxidative damage, and they reduce the ability of your body cells to process sugar. And this translates to a 51% increase in glaucoma risk. So if you're fond of snacking on sweet things, why not snack on fruits and vegetables instead? Snack on an apple or a carrot or a celery stick. Now, I know carrot doesn't sound as appealing as a caramel macaron drenched in rich, thick chocolate syrup, the pinnacle of dessert luxury that could spike your blood sugar just by looking at it. Yes, I know that's not very appealing, but the studies show that people who eat a diet with lots of fruits and vegetables, like the Mediterranean diet, full of foods that your grandmother would recognize, they have a 79% less risk of glaucoma. So I guess it's really lucky then that durian is considered a fruit and not an ultra-processed sweet. So this makes nutrition the fourth key pillar of proactive glaucoma care. It's about what you eat and also what you don't eat. That's very important. And let's move on to the sixth and final blind spot habit, taking the wrong vitamins. Now, a lot of people nowadays are realizing the importance of looking after their eyes, just as they would look after their heart and their brain and skin and joints. And they're turning to vitamins to help to fill in any nutritional gaps that may be present in conventional treatment. A very common vitamin mistake that I see is people taking the niacin form of vitamin B3 instead of the nicotinamide form of vitamin B3. So it's a nicotinamide form that is well absorbed into the retinal ganglion cells that helps to increase the resilience of your optic nerve and not niacin. Taking too much niacin could potentially cause macular edema, which could make your vision loss worse. Another common vitamin mistake or supplement mistake that I see is people taking turmeric instead of saffron, thinking that they both have the same health benefits for the eye. They're not. Just because they are both bright yellow orange in color doesn't mean that they deliver the same benefits for glaucoma. So what are the vitamins and supplements that you should be taking for glaucoma? Well, it's not a simple question to answer, and it's slightly complicated because we don't just want any old generic multivitamin or fish oil. We want something that is able to target the important cellular and circulatory risks that contribute to glaucoma damage. During the course of my research, I identified 10 key biocellular pathways and mechanisms that contribute to optic nerve vulnerability in glaucoma damage. But to simplify things, I have grouped them into 5 core areas of essential optic nerve protection. The first core area is circulation. For an optic nerve to be healthy, it requires a good amount of blood flow delivering oxygen and nutrients so that it can function and thrive. The key nutrients that help with this are ginkgo biloba and bilberry that have been shown to be able to improve ocular circulation to the optic nerve and the brain, where even small improvements will make a big difference over the long term. The second core area is in reducing psychological stress. And this is where saffron comes in addition to meditation or deep breathing techniques. Interestingly, saffron has also been shown to be able to reduce eye pressure by 15.5% in stable treated glaucoma patients. The third core area is to boost your antioxidant defense against oxidative damage. And I'm not talking about general vitamin C or vitamin E. I'm talking about more targeted, more specific, and more high impact antioxidants that can deliver specific protection at the cellular and mitochondrial level for your optic nerve cells. And I'm referring to botanical extracts such as saffron, ginkgo biloba, bilberry, and grapeseed. The fourth core area is to support cell repair, to augment the cell recovery process that occurs when you sleep overnight. And for this, folate and vitamin D3 are critical. They both work together to help with the cell repair process and help to keep your optic nerve resilient even under stress. The fifth core area is cell energy because your cells need fuel and energy to survive, function, and thrive. Vitamin B3, or specifically the nicotinamide form of vitamin B3, and vitamin B12 are critical to recharge the batteries of your tired, stressed optic nerve cell, helping to keep them alive and functioning well even under pressure. Or if you want everything support for your optic nerve across the 5 core areas of optic nerve protection, then you can take what I call the glaucoma vitamin stack. I also call it the neuroprotection protocol or the NP10 system, referencing the 10 key biocellular mechanisms and pathways that contribute to glaucoma damage. However you want to call it, one thing is clear. Optic nerve protection and support at this level of depth and specificity is important for glaucoma care, but it is just something that conventional treatments currently do not address. And this is what I call the neuroprotection gap. And this is why the fifth and final key pillar of proactive glaucoma care is filling in the neuroprotection gap. So back to my father. This is what I got him to do on top of using his eye drops every day. I asked him to continue with his daily exercise routine. I also encouraged him to continue with mindfulness meditation. He was already sleeping around 7 to 8 hours every night, which was excellent. I guess it's a good thing, a lucky thing that he doesn't have a Netflix subscription. And he was already eating fairly healthily. So I encouraged him to do more of the same, but I got him to cut down on his coffee intake. I guess it's a lucky thing that he doesn't live close by to a kopitiam on every corner. Of course, I also got him to take the glaucoma vitamin stack. I wanted him to fill in his neuroprotection gap through the NP10 system. And this is the essence of proactive glaucoma care, where we are complementing existing glaucoma treatments that reduce eye pressure by prioritizing physical activity, stress management, sleep, nutrition, and neuroprotection. And for the first time, I've started to feel that we weren't only just managing my dad's eye pressure. I felt like we were finally comprehensively protecting and supporting his vision over the long term. And remember his visual field test? So this was his visual field test when he was first diagnosed, where he lost half of his visual field. And this is his most recent visual field test. And you can see that there is some improvement in the central part of his visual field. Now, I was very surprised at this result, and I think his eye specialist was too. But the most important thing is that he is happy, I'm happy, and his glaucoma specialist is happy too. Now, disclaimer here. Now, I'm not saying that just because everyone adopts the principles of proactive glaucoma care or they take the NP10 system for neuroprotection that they will notice an improvement in their glaucoma. The whole purpose of proactive glaucoma care really is to strengthen the resilience of the optic nerve so that you have the highest chance possible of preserving vision over the long term. I'm going to end my talk with a fun fact. My kids love fun facts at the moment. We all know that scorpions are generally black in color. But did you know that when you shine UV light on a scorpion, it glows blue-green in color? Now, I didn't know this and it wasn't obvious to me. So if you want to take one thing away from this talk, let it be this. With glaucoma care, let's not just focus on the obvious, which is reducing eye pressure. We should also look at the missing gaps, because losing vision from glaucoma is definitely worse than encountering a glowing scorpion in the dark. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'm very happy to answer any questions you may have. You can email me or drop any questions in the comments below. I would also encourage you to ask yourself this question. What else would you do now to help to support and improve on your glaucoma care? Thank you.